Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
Everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change with Gigi. I am so happy that you guys are here joining me today. Today is going to be a fantastic show because we're going to be talking about the power of our thoughts. And can our thoughts really shape our destiny? Well, I found out they can. And today's show is we're going to share with you the information that really it drives our life, because I know we have more than research shows that we have more than 60,000 thoughts a day rushing through our mind. And which ones we give energy to, which ones that we capture, really determines our action. And I love, there's a quote that I'd like to share with everyone that really talks about our thoughts. And it's, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. And I am honored to bring here Johnny Lloyd, my guest for today's show. Welcome, Johnny. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh,
Gigi.
my pleasure.
This is amazing.
I'm glad you're here because, you know, part of being in Napoleon Hill Institute, we all learn how this information that is being taught really affects our everyday lives. And I'll bring back the quote because I really would like to hear your, position on this quote that we know it's so true on how we, behave based on the thoughts that we have in our life.
Yeah, this is a powerful quote because it does talk about it's the belonging. The thought is mine, so I get a chance to control it. So most people think they live in a world where they don't have any control, but the first place, the first ground that we control is the ground of our mind. So our thoughts are seeds, and they do become the words. And then our words speak life because anything that we say, our ears hear, and our brain wants to go ahead and make it happen. Our subconscious mind, it works like that, right? So they become our action. Because people don't fall into a hole immediately. They usually step into it step by step. They start saying things, they start thinking of things, and then it doesn't help them in their life. So my question is, I love this because then it's our habits, right? It become our character, our integrity, what we're known for, and then our destiny. Destiny is critical because that is the place that we look at our purpose, our promises, all of those things. So that is the key. The key is to start planting seeds, no matter where our viewers are today, to start planting seeds of destiny today.
Of course. And, we can look at our destiny and say, it's because of this person and that person and this person and that person. But truly to know that we are in charge of our thoughts and we get to make decisions in life, right? The decision whether we want to entertain that thought or not. And this is not just, this can apply to like anything you do during the day, right? You want to have a piece of cake. If you're on a diet and you decide, you know what? I'm going to have that piece of cake. That thought comes to mind. Well, you need to be strong enough and say, you know what? No. I have a desire to lose weight and I'm going to say no, because the thoughts can either be for you or against you, right? So, the next question is, when we, can thoughts really influence reality or the outcome?
Absolutely. I love the example you gave about dieting or, or losing something or shifting where we are to go where we want to go, right? Most people, and I used to do this all the time. I used to weigh 300 pounds. And the thing that I would do is I would always say, I'm going to go on a diet. Well, as soon as I said that, my thoughts would come up and say, no, you want this, you want that. As soon as I say I can't have something, then immediately my thought becomes, no, I want that.
Correct.
So what I'm doing, and I tell other people and teach other people to do that, is don't talk about what you don't want. Let's give power to what you want. So that's what we're saying. Can thoughts really influence our reality and outcomes? Yes. When we target them in a way that supports and causes us to focus on what we desire. And and I have this quote because where your power goes is based on your thought. Wherever your focus goes, your power goes, right? So when we focus on something that we don't want, then all of our energy goes toward that. So now I learned, okay, it's not that causing myself not to eat anything. It's not about what I can't have. Let's influence what I can have. So my thoughts now is be closer to the earth, drink more water, that kind of thing, a positive perspective.
And I realized too is that our thoughts activate our senses, right? And it's so, you have to be aware of it, obviously. But we can go into a state of happiness in a second if we think of the thoughts that bring us joy and happiness, right? I can take someone into their wedding day. I can take someone into a birth of their child, or just using the thoughts to think of those happy times will start to, you're going to feel it where in your heart, right? But then the opposite can happen as well. And I can bring someone to 9/11. The whole world was shaken then, right? And we think about that and we get emotional about it. So that's how powerful thoughts are, that they can actually stimulate the feelings in the heart, whether good or bad. And therefore, this answer, can they really influence reality or the outcome? Absolutely. How many times we said to ourselves, get up out of bed, get up now, right? It's like what we're saying and what we're feeling is very powerful. But then there's the other side of it that I look at. If you're thinking one thing, but you're feeling another, there's some friction going on there, right? And we don't consciously question why we accept the friction and bypass it. But I know it's going to come again, right? And this can be towards achieving a goal, or when you have a desire to do something, your heart's telling you do it, but then you start looking on the outside and saying, you know what, I'm not going to get out of my comfort zone, right? So all these thoughts come to your mind that kills your dreams, basically, or your desire or your outcome or your reality that you want to address. This one I love because Hill talks about in all his books how thoughts become things. And thoughts, like you said before, are seeds. And when we plant and nurture them, they lead to realization of the goals and desires, right?
And what I love about this quote is to remind all of us that if you had a plot of land, you would have to make a decision to till the soil, to nourish it, to water it, to grow what you desire. However, if you have that same plot of land, if you left it to its own demise, what would happen is it would grow weeds. You don't have to do anything for weeds to grow, except to be to wander and not take care of something. You have to use, in your word, intentionality. I love that word. You have to be intentional about cultivating that you desire in your life. Harnessing your thoughts, making decisions, and even doing it sometimes, I'm going to call it like this, afraid, and going back to the fact that the history, sometimes our history causes us to go back there and say, this is what happened last time, but you're not in last time. We learned from that. So now how do you move forward? And so empowering ourselves to move forward, because thoughts are things. Everything that was created twice. It was created again, right? And then it also was recreated or created in the natural when the person did the work to allow it to happen. So thoughts are things when we move forward.
I love that, because we know that if we take that thought, let's assume it's a good thought that you want to achieve a goal, right? Let's go on the positive side. And you have a plan, a definite plan, and a purpose. You're able to cancel out the thoughts that are not in alignment with the plan, right? With your purpose, with your definite purpose. And sometimes we become drifters because there is no plan, there is no purpose. So all the 60,000 thoughts that come in our head, most likely we're grabbing the ones that do not serve us because we don't have a purpose of doing something that we love, right? And we know, again, research states we are on autopilot. If we take a look at everything we do in our daily activity, day in and day out, 90%, 95 to 98% is automatic. So with having that knowledge, you intentionally must catch yourself with the thoughts that are, bringing you to drift and not being aligned with that goal. It was amazing today in our studies that our mentor Cleona was talking about thoughts and how it's so important to be intentional with our thoughts. And, we know this. The thoughts are the cause and the results of the effect. When we begin to, I'll let you I'll let you answer that.
I love that statement, and Cleona is so intuitive, and she says things, and even this, I'm believing that everybody who's watching or watch in the future will look at this question, and then they will sit down and say, what does this mean to me, right? So the thought is the cause and the results are the effect. So if the thought is the cause of me going in this direction, and my results are the effect of my thoughts that took me in that direction, if that's not the direction that we desire to go, then we need to rethink where we're going. So this is life for me. And it's John Maxwell and many others who said this. They said you learn, you unlearn, and you relearn. So you're always in the cycle of learning. So we learn something, and it may be things that we learned from our parents, from years ago, whatever, but now they're not serving you. So if the thought is not giving you the result and causing the effect that you want to move forward, you're not seeing the impact, you're not getting the results that you desire, then we have to go back to the thought, go back to the beginning, and reconsider what we're doing, make a plan, and move forward. Now, the one thing I would like to address for just a second is drifting. I don't want anybody to think that if they're successful, they're not they're not drifting. That's not necessarily true. You can be successful, you can have money, you can have what you think is your direction, but you're not happy. You know that this is not your call in life. You know that this is not your desire. You feel for something deeper. You're doing all of this wonderful stuff, but you're empty inside. You're drifting. You're drifting because you're not walking into your purpose and your destiny. And that's the key. The key is, what was I created to do? Identity, destiny. What was I created to do?
Absolutely. And, it comes down to really what beliefs are in, your subconscious mind. Like, what do you believe about yourself? Because yes, you can be successful, and I totally agree. But if you're not feeling fulfilled, like there's a purpose for your existence, money is not going to make you happy. Driving the big cars are not going to make you happy, because there's always going to be something missing. I don't know the guy's name, but I remember watching this man who was a filmmaker, and he was on top of the world. He had everything. He had, nightclubs, and actually he worked at a nightclub, and he was making his money from selling the big expensive bottles of champagne, right? So he ended up feeling lost. So one day he went to take this trip, and he was having his awakening, and he realized that he had to change what he was doing. So he applied to go work on a ship where they took care of sick people. And when he applied, he wanted to go out and serve. So he's doing the application, and nobody wants him because he's got, bad track record, right? And then he goes and applies to be on the ship to help the doctors, and he had to pay them, like, to enter. Instead of them paying him, he paid them, and he realized that this doctor on the ship made it his home, where he will go out to the less fortunate countries, and he would help people who had deformities because of water, the contaminated water. So he teamed up. After he did this mission, he went back to New York. This was in New York City, and it's a whole big organization now. He teamed up. He went back to the bars, and now he asks people to donate for that cause, and that to buy wells, right? To install wells in the country. And they were able, through technology, see where their money was going. Wow. So they were seeing, when they were drilling a new well, everyone who donated was able to feel the impact of that donation, right? Wow. That's what, I'm getting the chills just telling you this, because the difference that this man made once he found his purpose, and the impact that he touched so many lives, was enormous. And so having that type of purpose in life, you become very conscious of your thoughts, right? You begin to analyze, like, should I really get upset over this? This really gonna make a difference in my life when you look at the big picture? So it's very powerful when you do, like you said, find your purpose, to begin to just start to think in a different way. That's what happens. You start to think differently, where the little things don't matter, like material stuff are not the all and be all, right?
It's funny you talk about that, Gigi. One of the things that I tell people, I said, money and power is based on the person who has it, right? Money doesn't have emotion. It's picks up the energy of the person who has it in their possession. And then the other key is it reminds me, not that our stories with that is aligned, but this is what I'll tell somebody is that because I was once homeless, I had a degree, I had a baby on my chest, brand new miracle baby on my chest, because the doctor said I would never have children. And I was in the middle of this huge transition in my life that was adverse. I ended up being homeless because I almost died, right? So I'm laying on somebody else's orange shag carpet, and I remembered who I was. I remembered that where I was not who I was. It was
I love
where I
that.
was located, but it wasn't who I was. So because of that, it has caused me, after being very successful in the corporate, nonprofit, and profit arenas in the government, it caused me at one point in my life to look at it and say, you know what? I want to move from being really successful and become significant. And so that's where, and I'm a nonprofit called the Raise Up Nation, because we rise ourselves. We become successful, and that's a very myopic way of looking at things. You can become successful. Yes, you need other people to help you, right? Yes, thoughts and
Of course.
things, and people will buy it, and you can end up with all of this wealth. However, impact is not. So when I look at Raise Up Nation, I look at the fact that this organization helps people not just give them a fish, but teach them how to fish. So we just had 50 people sign up for a class. We were in Ghana last year, and it took me 20 years to get to Ghana.
Wow.
It was on my vision board, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Like, how do you move through
Yeah.
this? Africa was on my vision board for over 20 years, and I couldn't take it down. Last year, I got a chance to go, and that just continued to push the nonprofit. So we helped 60 people signed up, Ghanaians signed up for our class, and we took them through 6 months of training for them to build and grow a business. So now we're going back in September, and we're not going to just graduate and give certificates to the people who have completed the class successfully. We're going to have a deeper impact. Because I love what you said in the beginning. Be the change that you want the world to see.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just think of the change, but be it actively. The guy that you just talked about, he became part of the solution. So part of the way we're helping Ghanaians is we're going back and we're going to have a festival, community fest. And during that fest, we're going to feed 300 Ghanaian families for a week. And you know how much that costs? $30. $30 per day. You can feed them for a whole week. And that's not families that are just homeless. That's not what this is about. This is about giving people a hand up, not a handout. Because everybody in our lives, when I was laying on the orange shag carpet, I needed somebody to help me. I wasn't in my house. I was in somebody else's house. So had it not been for that, a hand up, yeah, we were sleeping on the floor, but it was a hand up from what I could do. I couldn't find anywhere to stay, right? So how do we help other people? And then as we do that, I think it leads us to our purpose. Because my purpose is to impact 20 million households for the glory of God. That's my purpose. That's my purpose. And it's through mindset. And so that's how the Napoleon Hill Institute and the foundation became so prevalent in my life, because I knew the principles. The principles is what helped me get off that floor. Because I remembered, you're better than this. You can put these principles into order. So there's some things that we have in our hands that we're not utilizing.
I agree.
We have an unction about what we love, but sometimes we're afraid to step out on it. Now, I'm not telling people to quit their day job or drop everything. I'm not telling
of
people
course
to.
not.
What I'm telling you to do is find your purpose.
Yeah.
There is nothing like finding your purpose. And people say, well, what if I can't find my real purpose? Everything will align, because everything I've done throughout my career has helped me to this moment. My 47 years of accounting experience, me working in nonprofits, profit, all of that stuff has come to a culmination for everything that we're doing now. And even Spark, I love it, Sparking Change. Are you serious? That is amazing, because it takes one spark, just one spark.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, you know that.
Ignite one little spark and the flame, and that's exactly what's happening to me. I had no idea this was going to happen. And then to be with the Napoleon Hill Institute, where they are an agent of change, looking to help people, get that spark within them so they can be powerful and take charge of their life. Like, yeah, I can connect, and Steve Jobs says this, right? We can connect the dots going back, but we can't connect the dots going forward. It's so good. It's so good. We're going to be right back. We're going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll come back and talk about maybe some strategies how we can help, to rearrange these thoughts we have in our head so that we can get the results we want.
Now, the vast majority, approximately 95% of the people of all countries, go around and around without aim or purpose. They drift with the circumstances of life, good or bad.
A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind.
Whereas the successful individuals create their own circumstances and ride them to victory.
When you're on purpose, you're living on purpose. You will never quit if you have a real purpose.
A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. But what I have done has been recorded, it's been tested, it's being taken to a free world, and it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born.
And it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born. We're some of those people that we're spreading this to the world. As your awareness grows, the doubt is gone so that you can manifest whatever it is your heart desires. Isn't that beautiful?
So when we watch that, it just like goes right to the heart, right? Because that is the work that we do, and helping people to become powerful in taking what they already have and helping them see that it's within them is truly my mission as well. Because with my adversity in my life, it was like I went in such a dark, deep place that the mental and emotional side of any adversity can really take you down a spiral that will, can just destroy everything that you've worked for and created, and the love, and just make you feel like worthless. I mean, there's no other better way to describe it, right? And having the emotions, the thoughts of emotions that are negative, that impact, and again, when something negative happens in your life, obviously you're going to attract negative thoughts and negative thinking, but being stronger than that. And here's the next question, is so important, right? Harnessing the power of thought to create well-being involves cultivating positive thinking patterns and using cognitive strategies to improve your mental and emotional state. I mean, that's so big. That's so big, because emotions play a big role based on the thought that we have. And, I studied, I became certified in the emotion code. And, that process, just to help people release the trapped emotions from traumas that they have in their life, is so important, because they feel trapped, they feel stuck, right? So how can we harness these thoughts that we can, flip, I don't want to say flip the switch, but there is the law of polarity. We know that anything that goes up must come down. Lights go on, light go off, right? So there's the opposite of everything that we do. So when we are in that state of worry, fear, doubt, because I truly, I keep saying this is the state of the world right now. How can, what strategies can we give to help people really start to go within and have the faith that, everything will be okay?
Wow. That is such an amazing question. One of the things I would say is the awareness. That is so powerful in what you were saying, because it's the awareness that the power exists, number one. And then number two for me would be, now that I understand that I have the power within me, how do I harness it? So for me, the power is so great. If a person would look at a wild horse and they would say, how can you get this horse tamed? Or so I can take it and do something with all that power, right? So our brain is like that. We have to do things for our brain to harness the power, because we don't want it running around loose, wild. Because once we focus, we get a chance to harness the power, get the chance to be used for our good. And that is the thing. And then you mentioned something else that was really powerful. You said, how do you take from the negative and move it to the positive? And I wrote this small ebook, and it talks about during the pandemic, actually. And it says, how do you transmuting fear to faith, transmuting the power of fear. So you can transmute any negative thing that you're thinking. You can transmute it or convert it, that's all we're saying, to convert it, to harness it and convert it for your good. So when you take the fear and you transmute it into faith, when you take all that energy that was perceived previously as negative, and it becomes powerful and more powerful because you took control of it. Now you can direct it for your good. So one of the things I would say for cultivating positive thinking patterns when it comes to our mind and our emotions, because that's the soul's room, right? So most people want to look at their physical body, because we're spirit, soul, and body. People will do the work on their physical body. They'll even, do some work on their spirit, but we leave open our mental and emotional states. And those are the areas that all of our history, our subconscious mind deals with, everything we've learned in the past, everything that's holding us back is in those states. Because haven't you ever, I songs, I'm like, I really like music. So I can hear a song. So I put a song on, and I can tell you, especially if it's an oldie but goodie.
Yeah. Where you were and what you were doing.
I know exactly where I was. What I was doing, maybe shouldn't have been doing, whatever. I remember. And so that is the key, and that's the trigger for us. So sometimes things that come up in our psyche, like our emotional state, we see something and it triggers us. So the awareness is also to know our triggers, right?
Absolutely.
And to be in a place where, like me being here with you today, we're like-minded. We're going for the positive change and the transformation in other people's lives. So all of this energy and synergy that we bring together is multiplied, not added, is multiplied in a different space, and it becomes more powerful. So who are you with? Who are you around? What decisions? That kind of thing. Who's speaking into your life? All of those things. So one of the things I would say is and I'm a big affirmations chick. I'm a big affirmations girl.
Yeah.
So I did a book that says a legacy moments, transformation that goes beyond change. So the reason I did transformation is because I was going through a transformation at the time.
Yeah.
And the transformation, sometimes when we get into that space, it requires us to affirm things maybe nobody else has confirmed in your life. It's the I am. Who am I? I am, and say the word. So many times in my life, and I can't speak for you, but I used to say I am and I put a negative word behind it. So I'm empowering what I just said about me in a negative sense.
Absolutely.
So, and I believe in affirmations, and they do work, is to say them on a regular basis, to look in the mirror and say them until you're comfortable with it. And if you're saying something that you don't believe yet, add these two words. What if? What if I am? What if I am?
That's so good.
I mean, because I'm not a size 3 and I don't want to be. What if, when I was weighing 300 pounds, I said, what if I'm a size 16? I couldn't see, I had been that heavy that long. And even getting the certification, I said, okay, what if I am certified? What does that mean in my life? What does that mean to others? It's about how do I serve with the what if I am? How do I serve me and others from that? So I would give that as a thing for people that may be in a place that they really need that extra boost. Keep the I am in there, because that's the most powerful 2 words you can ever say. Then put the what if I am in the beginning until your faith can raise up to that level. Your vibration and your faith can rise up to a level where you can believe it. And once you believe it, drop the what if and just declare it.
That's so beautiful. And that goes with the positive thinking pattern, right? The I am, instead of the negative, start creating the habits or the patterns, because we're functioning on patterns. And, I'm sure you heard of this, is that our personality is defined at a very early age in life, right? And it's when we go back and look at, prior to 7 years old, I believe, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's another favorite guy of mine. He says we become all of that, anything that's happened in our life from 7 years old. So if you went to school, or you were at the supermarket and you wanted something and your mother said, no, you can't have it, or be quiet, shut up, whatever, and made you feel unworthy, then that's like a stamp in your subconscious mind that when you want to go do something, you're acting on that event. Your actions, your thoughts are based on that event. And that's why our thoughts really shape our destiny, because there's a lot of old stuff that does not serve you, if I may, that are controlling the way you're thinking. There was a story about this little girl who got slapped in the face with the tail of the dog, the family dog. They had a big dog on the right side. And unconsciously, every time she had to take pictures throughout school, throughout high school, and our friends, and she always would make sure that she was not in the position where her right side was shown. So she would always be, on her left side. So unconsciously, she was behaving based on that event she had when she was 4 or 5. And this is how we do the same thing with thoughts. Unconsciously, we're thinking, our thinking is based upon an event or events that took place in our lives that begin to shape our, create our results in our life. And going on the emotional side, when thoughts are attached with the emotions,
Yeah.
oh my goodness,
Oh my goodness.
it's powerful, and in both directions, right? Because when we take a thought of you're getting married, and you're planning the wedding, and all those great feelings and all those great thoughts and feelings and emotions of love, wow, right? Love conquers all. Don't we hear that all the time? Love conquers all.
Yeah.
And but the opposite can happen, right? Negativity, fear could crush us and paralyze us. So what side do we want to be on? And to recognize that faith and fear are both something we can't see. We can't see, no matter what kind of glasses we have, we can't see. So it's, what are we choosing? And truly, yesterday was an exercise where, Cleona I had one of the coaches go through an exercise to validate, like, why was she feeling that way? What made her feel that way? It was so powerful. Because when you analyze why are you in fear, and you go through, well, what's the worst case scenario? I remember when we bought our home, and my husband goes, I'm getting into a new business right now, and you want to buy this home, and what are we doing? This is crazy. And I go, what's the worst thing that can happen? We have to sell it again? Like, it was no big deal, but he was so stressed over the fact that this is not the right time to buy a house. It's never the right time. It's never the right time. But I want to go into beliefs, because I really do feel that what we say to ourselves, we create a belief around it. And so that creates the thinking pattern and the thoughts that match up with those beliefs. But we have studied that affirmations, autosuggestion, things like that can help us shift the beliefs, because we are in control of the thoughts. They may not be our beliefs, and they control the thoughts, but we can change them. There is a way to change our beliefs.
Right. There's a quote, and I can't think of who said it. You may be able to think of it. It says, whether you think you can or you think you can't.
Henry Ford.
You're right. So that is the belief system. Whatever you think, whatever our mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. But it says can achieve. It doesn't say you will achieve it, because it takes some work, right? The power of the thought can manifest it for you to move forward, but you still have to use and sometimes fight against your old belief system to move forward. Because like you mentioned so eloquently, you said most people at 7 years old, you're kind of there. So what do we need to go back to and look at and say is true? Is that real? Is that something someone told me? Is that a feeling? Going back to the mental emotional, right? Is that a feeling that I got? Something that happened? And if that is, how do I rewrite that story? So one of the things a person can do, because belief system is huge, is look at your belief system that may be stopping or causing you to procrastinate in a way, and then look at it and say, why?
Yeah. And beliefs are like habits, right? So some people go, well, what do you mean by belief system? It's just watch what you're saying, see why you're doing it. I remember, actually, there's a book. There's Atomic Habits, which is a very, very great book. But there's also a book with mindset. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they say, take one little habit at a time, right? And start flipping that. When we look to the outside in our environment, we're going to do a quick commercial break, and then we're going to just talk about how our thoughts sometimes are created from looking at our surrounding and our environment versus looking at what we believe. And if we can switch that, we'll be in a better place. But we'll come right back with a quick commercial break. So, yes, I wanted to just touch on that because we can have a mindset that we're going to go for this goal, and we have all the right thoughts. We plan it out. It's wonderful. It's great. But if we don't keep our eye on the goal, and we keep our eye and we get off track, and we look at what everybody else is doing, and how they're doing it, and who made it, and who didn't make it, and we start comparing, then we're essentially losing power to achieve our goal, right? Because the power is within us. Whether it's a goal for getting well, whether it's a goal for going for a new job, whether it's a goal for buying a new business, it doesn't matter what it is. If we look at what, the outside is doing, it can absolutely kill our goal. And, again, I think we need to be more in control and know that what the outside is doing, everyone has their unique gifts and talents. So when we start to compare ourselves, it's almost like you're drinking poison. I don't know which other best way to put it in, right? It's like we're drinking poison because we allow that to happen, right? With the choices that we make. So this is how we end up losing control. And let's just talk about that a little bit.
Wow, that's an awesome statement. One of the things I would say, because all of us have looked at other people's lives, right? You can't attract what you are denying in somebody else's life. If you say, I can't believe they did that, and you don't act like you like it, but you want what you just talked about, you can't attract that because you took something in their life and you made it negative in your head. You said, no, I don't want it. Or that's not good because you attached it to them. So this is what I tell my clients. So I tell them, I said, look, there are 6 sculptures here, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but a couple of them is other people's opinion. One of them is other people's opinion, which is huge. In the Napoleon Hill, he says,
yes,
right? So now the key with that is, if I get in my lane, my unique design lane, and realize that I win in my race, because nobody's running my race but me. And until as long as I'm breathing, I get a chance to run it, right? Because people say, well, when are you a failure? When they close the box on you, and that's when. If you didn't do it, you done it, right? But until that happens, you have an opportunity to rewrite anything in your life. You get a chance to do that. So look internally. Don't look at outside you. And so one of the things that I have to do, and everybody has to do what they need to do, is at some point in my life, I have to cut down on social media. I have to cut down on whether it be news and stuff like that, because I am feeding what they're feeding.
Oh, repeat that. I love that.
You are eating what they're feeding.
I love that.
So if you're only eating junk food, and hear this, if you're only eating junk food, then don't be mad when you look like or your habits, your belief system, all of that looks like you only ate junk food. If you start, when you start shifting and start eating something that is more healthy for you, I'm talking about your mindset, but it impacts your mindset, and you cut off some of the other things that are causing you to be triggered, then you'll do better. Because I do a lot of stuff in money. So I have a client, had a client, and she likes really, really high-end things, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, those high-end things were getting her in trouble. So now she wasn't paying her bills. She wasn't taking care of this. She wasn't doing that. I mean, all of these things were happening, right? She was trying to work 2 or 3 jobs to keep up with whoever. You can call them Jones, the Lord, whoever.
Yes.
But you don't have to keep up with nobody. But you. Don't judge yourself based on somebody else's lane, because you don't know what it costs them to do it, and you don't know what they're paying on a daily basis to stay there. And it may be something you're not willing to give. So I run my lane, I stay in my lane,
Yes.
and I'm not mad about my lane, because you know what? Nobody can run my lane better than me. Nobody.
I always say, you know, in any circumstance, it's yourself, and I call it the higher self, that gets to talk to you, and you get to listen, and there's no negotiations, right? It's like, okay, I'm listening, right? Where when you're not connected to the higher self, you start to struggle. You go back and forth. You're, undecided. There's no decisions being made. And the next thing you know, it's like a year went by and you're like, I still didn't go get my degree. I still didn't go do what I wanted to do, right? But I think when you really look at the fact that there is, you have so much potential in you without looking on the outside and just focused on you, you'll get the energy, you'll get the resources you need, you'll get, everything will show up. And when we have the thoughts and the negative thinking, we close the doors to all opportunities. When we have fear, we become paralyzed. There's no positive thinking coming in. There's no solutions coming in. It's all more problems, right? More problems. So it's knowing that, to have the faith that what you want, you deserve. You deserve it.
Yeah.
No one says you don't deserve it, but you.
But you decide. This is one of my things. Who defines success for you? Look at that as a person. Who is defining what success is for you? If someone outside of you is determining what success is for you, there's a disconnect. So look at what you believe success is for you and go after that. And then the other statement I would make to help all of us is that my past is my ground, the fertilizer that I stand on in the present.
Oh, that's beautiful.
My past is the fertilizer. You hear me? Because we want to dig and stay in our past. That's fertilizer. Get out of that.
Yeah.
Stay in the present. Utilize the past as a learn, and even success, whatever, is learn and then move forward. Because stagnant water has a problem. You have to flow.
Of course. We're going to go into, we have a few more minutes, and we're going to go into this question. What are some practical techniques for harnessing the power of thought to achieve goals? Right? We know that the first and very first thing is make a decision that you're going to go down this path that you want for you. And then I'll let you take away the rest.
Okay, so I'm gonna give go back to visualization, to visualize where you want to go.
Yeah,
that's very important, to take the time to use our imagination. I love the thing Scott did the other day, which is really powerful.
yeah.
And we're doing it in the Institute. 10 minutes a day, just be like a child. Use your imagination. What is possible without limitations, without self, like sometimes we judge ourselves. Don't
Yeah.
judge anything. Just have fun.
Fun. Yeah.
Just have fun with it. And that shifts our mindset to move forward. And do that for 30 days. That's one of them. Then positive self-talk. Are you talking to yourself like you would talk to other people? Sometimes we are harder and we talk harsher to ourselves.
Of course.
We would never allow, and we would never do that for other people. So positive self-talk. And then I would say stay resilient.
And persistent. And persistent. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and celebrate women. When Fatima had, when I was in business boot camp, every night he started us on this, and this is such an amazing thing. Take every night and write down your wins. Before I was doing this, I was looking at every night before I went to bed, and my mind would automatically take me to what I did not accomplish.
Yeah.
I'm going in this lack mindset, like you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this.
I know, right? Carry it on to the news sheet. Okay, yeah, tomorrow's to-do list.
Yeah. So what I start doing now is I have a book and I put in my wins. Before I go to bed, I shut down a little early and I put in my wins. And it could be something as small as I didn't hurt nobody today. I didn't say nothing negative. It doesn't matter what it is. It's your win. Celebrate you. Learn to celebrate you right where you are. That's
I'm just going to say this because obviously there's definitely a lot of synergies going on here. My program called the Rainbow, and every letter represents something to help my clients go through the process of transformation. R is for reconnect, A is for awareness, I is for imagination, R is for N is for nurturing yourself, B is for beliefs, O is for optimistic, and W is for wins.
I love it. I love it.
So
that's perfect, what you just said.
Yeah. And, this is taking control, taking back control. And this is how we spark change in us. And then it's a ripple effect. But Johnny, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thank you everyone for joining us. It was so lovely to go through this, and I really hope that everyone got, something out of it. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll see you on the next show on Spark and Change with Gigi. Bye-bye, everyone.